let's do this. My first vlog in English. This is awkward and exciting at the same time. I normally record in Dutch, and I'm not very fond of recording myself. I do not take a lot of selfies, and I do not record myself that much, so it's kind of awkward. But I decided to make vlogs in English as well as in Dutch, so for Dutch viewers, no worries. I will be making Dutch vlogs as well. But I thought I have quite a lot of customers outside of the Netherlands, and I want them to be able to view my vlogs if they like to. So that's why I decided to record in English as well. Maybe it's a good idea to introduce myself. My name is Wendy. I am a small business owner and I live in the northern part of the Netherlands. I am an independent yarn dyer. I dye yarn for a living. It's my full-time job, more than full-time most of the year. I started with dyeing plant-based yarns, so cotton, linen and bamboo. Last summer I decided to add wool to the collection, and I started dyeing wool on a kind of like a go with the flow base. Which meant that I put the yarn in the pan and decided on the go which colors to add. Of course, I knew something about how to dye yarn because it all started with watching videos about dyeing wool. And after that, I decided to go for plant-based yarns because I'm aware of about 6 or 7 hand-dyed or indie dyers who dye only vegan yarn. Not so much indie dyers who dye it because it's very, very time consuming, and you have very different options from dyeing wool. So people tend to choose dyeing wool by hand a lot faster than dyeing plant-based yarns. And I can tell you a lot about those decisions and how I got into dyeing yarn at the first place and who inspired me and so on. But maybe that's something for another video, because I want to keep this video within the 30 minutes because my Dutch videos were always over an hour, and it took me about a day to record, to edit, to upload, to do everything to get it out in the world. And now I'm recording in English, and I still want to do a Dutch video and an English video with editing, with uploading in one day. I don't know if I will make it, but I make a slight chance at that if I keep it within the 30 minutes. If you would like to know more about how I got into yarn dyeing, who inspired me, which videos did I watch, how I decided to start with vegan yarns instead of wool, I would love to tell you more about that. Please let me know in the comments if that's something you would learn more about. Because I would love to talk about that, but in a separate video, because I would love to keep this within the 30-minute cap, because I also have to edit. I have to record a Dutch video, edit that as well, and I don't have 3 days for getting things up to YouTube. So let's just stick with the projects that I'm making at the moment. In December, I've joined the Vlogmas thing. I enjoyed it, but it was heavy on my daily time. I don't know if that's the way to say it in English, but maybe you get what I'm trying to tell. It's invasive. I'm not someone. I don't take a lot of selfies. I don't record myself. It's just not me, I guess. So it was a thing, but it was also really nice to do. And it's also really nice to be able to look back on something like, okay, I did this and I know how it is now. So I think it's time to show you my projects which I have on the go at the moment. I have a few long-lasting socks. These are from, I think I've started them into January 23. It's now a year later and they're still not finished. And it's a long story, which I'm not going to into that much. This was meant to be an afterthought heel, which this one is. This one had an afterthought heel as well. But I need an adjustment to make a little bit of more room for a high arch. And so I cut out the old heel to put in a new one. Then I couldn't get my stitches back on the needles. So what I did is I bit the bullet. I frogged this entire piece. I put in the kind of a lifeline, or this is the placement of an afterthought heel by Andrea Mowry. And then I knitted it all again, and I don't know why, but I stopped. I stopped doing the Kitchener stitch for the toe. And the only thing I have to do to finish this pair is to put in the wide heel. So it's not that much work, but somehow it got into my naughty corner, and I just ignored it, I guess. That's my first pair of socks. Then I have a second pair of socks, which are these ones, and these don't have a heel at all. I didn't even give it a try. This is in my web shop. I sell sock sets, 50 grams of a main color and 20 grams for cuffs, heels and toes. And I wanted to make a pair of socks to show people at craft fairs and markets how big of a pair of socks you could make using one sock set. And the only thing I have to do is to decide where I have to put in the heel and knit 2 heels, and then they're finished. These socks are also an example of my go with the flow yarn. I don't have a recipe. I can't repeat these ones. So I'm really happy I kept one for myself because I really love it, but I wouldn't know how to dye this up again. This is my second pair of socks, and then I have a third pair. In last November, I got a present from a friend of mine. She ordered an advent calendar, a self-striping yarn advent calendar, 4 packages, and she could open one every Advent Sunday. And she gave the first Sunday to me, and it was this beautiful yarn. It's called Christmas Carols on Strong Sock, 75 virgin wool, 25 nylon. It's dyed by Nicole C. Mendes, and it doesn't sound German, but I think she lives in Germany. And this is the 50 gram skein because I've managed to make a pair, or almost managed to make a pair out of 50 grams. So I will give this back to my friend so she can make a pair of socks herself. This is the first sock. And I love it. I really, really love it. Yeah, I love the colors. I love the contrasting color. When I got this and I got this out of the wrap, I immediately know, oh, I have this dark denim blue, which goes really beautiful with this. And I had used it before because it wasn't a full skein anymore. This is just a simple store-bought yarn, 75-25 Regia Sachemeyer. Yeah, and this is the first sock, and I started doing them 2 at a time. But then I got on this one, I got on the heel, and I don't know why, but then when I got the heel in, I just wanted to know how this would look like, because the stripes are a little bit smaller because you have to pick up stitches for the gusset over here, this one. But I'm fully okay with that. But I would like to know how how far I could get on the foot, and I still have one color left. I need to repeat the green 1 time, and then I will so it will come up to here. So my toe may be a little bit longer in blue than it's supposed to be, otherwise they won't fit, but that's not a problem to me at all. I am a size 7, 40 in Europe, 7 in America, I guess. Yeah, and I love them. The needles I always used are Chow Goose 2.25 millimeters. That's my go-to sock needle. And this is the Cold Brew sock by Alison from Lofty Loops. It's a paid for pattern. I will link it down below in the description box. It's on Ravelry, and it's I didn't use her pattern for making the socks because I have my own, but I did buy it to know what she did over here, and it's nothing more than a slip stitch, but it's not difficult at any means, but you just have to know how to make it, right? Although I'm not fully in yarn dyeing mode at the moment because I'm dyeing outside and I use rainwater for dyeing and rinsing my yarn. And I have a big 1,000-liter tank and it's frozen, solid frozen. So I can't use it at this moment, and it's also around zero. So it's practically freezing outside and not very pleasant to work in that temperature. So I'm not fully in dyeing mode, but I did dyed up some yesterday because I'm working on a new collection for spring and summer of 2024. And yesterday I dyed up this one, which I really love. What I do at the moment is I will write everything down. I come up with a recipe, most of the times inspired on a photo. I come up with a recipe, I write it down, and then I start dyeing and I tweak it on the go. And this time this was the result. And I really love it. I can't wait to see how this knits up, but it's kind of dyed a similar way than this one. That was a light of a fingering one. This was a DK. This is a DK yarn. And with this yarn, I started a new project about 1.5 weeks ago. We went to London for a city trip for 5 days, and I had something to bring with me to knit on in the train. And that's why I cast on the Tolsta Tee by Crea Bea. And I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I tweaked some little things, like I made a twisted rib on the, what is it called in English? Brim? No. Brim is something on the head. The yoke. Ribbing. I guess you'd just call it ribbon. I made a twisted rib on the ribbing. I did make a gauge watch and I was really off. The pattern says 17 stitches on 10 centimeters and I had 19 stitches on 10 centimeters. So I was 2 stitches off, which for a garment like a sweater is really a lot. So I had to tweak it because I do like the fabric I get on 5mm needles. So I didn't want to go a size up because you get a gapey fabric, and which I didn't like. So I used a video of Leslie from California Knit. I will link it in the description box below because she has a really simple math video. Words. She made a very simple video on how to know which size to make you fit your garment when your gauge is off. And I can't tell you how she did it. I'm really bad at math. I'm not good with numbers at all. But when I did exactly what she told me to do, I knew which size to make. And I did fit it for the first time about two days ago, and it's really it's maybe when I did the numbers on her video, I came somewhere between two sizes with the numbers, with the amount of stitches. And I choose the bigger one. And I might have gone for the lower one as well. But I just thought, well, let's play safe. Let's make the bigger one because, yeah, that's better than than a garment that doesn't fit at all. So it might be a little bit big, but well, I think it's okay. So yeah, this is my Tolsta Tee by the Grey Abea, and oh, I really love it. I love the fabric, I love the colors, I love the subtleness of the fabric in general. Yeah, so this is one of my new yarns. I dyed this on my merino DK base. I will also be dyeing it on merino fingering and maybe even on merino cotton. But I might even give it a try to dye it on plant-based yarns, and it will turn out very different because speckling you turn up the heat and you make the dye bath very acety. Is that an English word? I don't know. You put in a lot of acid, and then the dye gets absorbed immediately, while my plant-based yarns will be staying in the dye bath for somewhere between 24 and 36 hours. So speckling on plant-based yarns is something completely different, so it will turn out very differently, but nevertheless it might be very nice to give it a try, so I may do that as well. This is, for now, is my Tolsta Tee by the Grey Abea. Then I have another quite long-lasting project. I think I started it somewhere at the end of July 2023. I really love it. It's the Sunray by Jennifer Steingas. I'm making it out of Lang Yarns Nova. It's a blend of 48% wool, 32% baby camel, and 20% nylon. It's not my most favorite project at the moment, and I will tell you why. This is what it is, the Sunray. It's my first colorwork sweater. I did this with a Zauber ball. I don't have it with me on hand, but it's a Zauber ball from Schoppelwolle, and I think it's widely available. When we went to London, I went to Loop, and I saw they had it over there as well, so I think you can get it worldwide. It's a bit of a spin cycle yarn effect, but with less costs. So I really love it, and the fabric is really soft, and I'm making this on a 5.5 needle, and you can see those are quite small stitches. To me it doesn't look like a 5.5 millimeter needle. The reason why it's not my most favorite project to work on at the moment is that the yarn is really stretchy. This is unstretched, this is stretched. It's really, yeah, like I said, it's really stretchy, and you really have to beware of tension. So if I'm stressed myself, it's not a good plan to work on this sweater because my gauge will be really narrow. I got quite far by now. The yoke is all done. The body is almost all done. I ran out of yarn, so I had to buy some more. I couldn't find the exact same dye bath, but I don't think you will see it. I need quite something on my first sleeve. This one is still on temporary yarn, so I have to work on the other sleeve. But yeah, I'm procrastinating it, and that's just because of the stretchy yarn, which I really don't like. But the end result will be beautiful because yeah, I really love this. So I have to work on that as well, but it's in the naughty corner because of the yarn at the moment. Then I started another project. I had 2 advent calendars last year. I traded one with a fellow indie dyer, And I got one as a gift from another indie dyer, which was really lovely. And I decided to open up all 48 packages, 49 actually, because one of those advents, the one I got for free just as a gift, had 25 days in it. And I decided to open them all, well, every day. So at the end of December, I unwrapped them all, and I decided to make my own. Now I'm looking for a word as well. I had to stop recording because I couldn't remember the word order. Stupid things. Okay, what was I talking about? I've unwrapped both of the advent calendars so I could decide about which order of colors I would want to use to make my blanket. I made a fade going from very light pinks to reds, purples, blues, some greens, and then into browns and some ochre yellow kind of hues. It's not an exact fade because I decided to mingle yarns from 2 indie dyers. So, but it's still, I think it's still going to be beautiful. This is what I have so far. I'm looking at the back of my telephone right now, so I don't know exactly what I'm showing because I'm not seeing what I do. I guess this will be more successful than showing it this way. Yeah, so this is it so far, and I'm really loving it. What I did is I cast on 210 stitches. I have 6 undyed skeins of merino nylon, and I have 30 mini skeins of 20 grams to combine. And it will give me a blanket with a size of 110 centimeters. I will put the yards on the screen. 110 centimeters width and a length of 180 centimeters. And what I really like about this blanket is the edging. I looked up a video about, I don't know, it's called the perfect edge or the neat edge or anything like that. It's not an exact I-cord because I think it's way more stretchier than a true I-cord. But it's very easy to do, and I can't tell you how to do it because I'm not a person who's able to make tutorials in any way, because I'm not very good at explaining, I think. But it's a really, really nice edge. And it's a tutorial in English, so I will put it in the description box below. Oh, and I have to show you my avocados. I really love working with quirky stuff. So these are my avocados. And I didn't show you. You really have to see. I didn't show you the Highland cows I have on my Tolsta Tee. This is a lady in the Netherlands. She has a website. She sells these. She sent these to me as a birthday gift, which was really lovely. But she has a website only in Dutch, so I have to figure out whether it's a good thing to do to mention or to put her link to her web shop in the description box below, because it's all in Dutch, and when you are watching this video, Dutch isn't apparently not your first language. Otherwise, you might want to check my Dutch video. So, yeah, I have to think about, and maybe I will ask her what she will, if she's able to answer in English, and if she's willing to ship abroad. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I think that's about it for my works in progress. We're almost there. And it might be fun to show you some of my hand-dyed plant-based yarns, because they are not as well known as wool. Yeah, so let's get into that. The first one I'd like to show you is my bamboo base. I have it in 3 weights, but at the moment I only dye the light fingering base, which is this one, and the sport base. I call this light fingering because it's 100 gram 400 meter yarn, but it's a little less fluffy because it doesn't have plant-based yarn, doesn't have any memory. So you always have to size down a needle, sometimes 2 sizes even, to get the correct gauge. So that's why I'm calling it light fingering. But it's beautiful, and it's bamboo yarn. If you're allergic to wool but you like to make a garment which is really soft and airy, this is your go-to yarn for the summer, really. Then I have Pima cotton. Pima cotton is something completely different than the average known cotton yarn, the commercial cotton for amigurumi and other stuffed animals. Pima cotton is well known for it has a long fiber, which makes it really strong and soft as well. These are 2 colors on my Pima cotton base. This is before midnight. I also have an after midnight, but I don't think it's in stock at the moment. So this is before midnight, and this is Omaha, a few green shades. I do not dye tonals. Well, no, I do not dye solids. I make tonals. So when I dye, for instance, a green like this, I always put on 3 or 4 shades which are really close to each other to give it some interest, but to make it like a tonal yarn. And what's fun to show is that this is my bamboo linen base, and these 2 have been in the exact same dye bath, like next to each other in one dye bath, but the yarn behaves differently. This is also a light fingering, 100 grams, 400 meters, and this is a 70% bamboo and 30% linen, and this is also a very soft, well, it's soft. It's not as soft as my bamboo base, but once it's knit up, and the linen in it has to break a little to make it this is really wearable. But it's not as soft to the touch as bamboo yarn is. And last, this is my DK Air base. This is also a Pima cotton. This is a very light spun cotton with 1 strand of very thin cotton around it. I don't know if it shows, but this is almost, when I would put another label on it and I would sell it to you as wool, you might even think it's really wool. That's how soft and fluffy it is. This is, when I dye this and I rinse this, I always make sure to dry it in the wind. We live quite near the sea over here, so I make sure to dry it in the wind, not in the sun, because cotton will get a bit crispy in the sun. So in shade and in wind, and then it really blows up. It's a beautiful yarn. I think this is it, people. I made it to the end, and if you're still watching, you did too, and thank you so much for that. Maybe it's good to let you know that I'm most active on Instagram at the moment. I will put down my Instagram handle, my Facebook handle, and the newsletter subscription page down in the box below. I send out a newsletter about 5, maximum 10 times a year. So if you want to be the first to know about sales or the advent calendar going online or yarn clubs going online, be sure to sign up to the newsletter. It will be in Dutch. Well, the first part will be in Dutch. The second part will be in English, because I can't see the difference whether you're Dutch or English based on an email address. So everyone will get the same Dutch and an English version. So if you want to be the first to know, that's a good thing to do. What did I need to tell you more? Yeah, there will be 6 yarn clubs this year. I have one theme, and I made 6 different yarn clubs out of that. They will be very different, but I think my theme is, well, I came up with it when I was on a vacation in Sweden, but it doesn't have to do anything. Well, maybe one edition, but it doesn't really have to do anything with Sweden. It's something worldwide. But I will tell you all about it on the 23rd of January. Because I think that's the day my first yarn club will be online. It's my second year of doing a yarn club, and it will be bigger than last year. I will be offering more different yarn bases and more different yarn weights. I also will be doing an advent calendar, but I'm not expecting it will be online before the end of February. I think somewhere in March, when the first come up, I will make sure to be there as well. And the advent calendars is the same. I will be having more yarn bases, plant-based and wool this time, different yarn weights, but it won't be a 24 mini skein yarn advent. What it will be, I will tell you. I will let you know in a newsletter or online. It's also a good thing to check the website every now and then. I have a web shop in Dutch. The link is down below. But there are 2 flags, a Dutch one and an English one. And feel free to press the English one, where you can read my crappy English. But I did try my best to translate everything for you. And you should be able to make a purchase if you would like to. Problem is, I have to add all countries I ship to by hand, one by one, which I haven't done at the moment. But if you want to order something and your country is not on the shipping list, just send me an email or send me a DM via Instagram, and I will make sure to add your country to the list. And maybe one day, when I really don't know what to do, when I don't have anything to do, I will do them. I will add them all myself, but for now it's just so much work. I think there are 250 countries in the world, so I'm not. I didn't do that yet. I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Well, you know the drill for like and subscribe and everything. If you would love to, make sure you do, and if you don't like, perfectly fine with me as well. I will be promising that I will add another video, at least 1 second video in English at the second half of February. Hope to see you then. In the meantime, happy crafting. Bye bye.